What does it do? It goes back up here, it closes off the intake port, okay, and it starts that first stage all over again. It starts to compress the air-fuel mixture up here. And you might say to yourself, well, isn't that going to all escape out the exhaust? Yep, but before it gets a chance to, the piston covers that exhaust port. Now you've captured that batch of air-fuel mixture up here, okay? Remember back to the very beginning of the video, I said that there's a batch of fuel air mixture up here, and there's a batch of fuel air mixture up here, and I said, I will explain how that got there, and now I just did. And I said to you guys at the time, trust me, I'll show you how it got there. Well, that's how it got there, okay? So now we're going up. This is becoming a compression stroke, okay? Because we're on the upstroke, so we have a high cylinder pressure up here, and it gets higher the further the piston travels up in the cylinder, the higher that pressure becomes. What else is happening? Remember, on a two-stroke engine, both sides of the piston are creating pressures, and then both of those pressures are used. Okay, so as the piston moves up here, you get low pressure there, low crankcase pressure. Guess what? You have another intake event. Okay, then your spark plug fires. We have high cylinder pressure and high crankcase pressure, otherwise known as compression. You have an exhaust event. You have an intake event because this high pressure travels through here to the cylinder. Piston starts coming back up, closes the intake port, closes the exhaust port. We get another compression stroke, or compression event, and an intake event, and then another power event, and another compression event. And then you have intake here, and then and I missed the exhaust there. Then you have another compression event, and another intake event there. Okay, so it's a little bit more complicated. I would imagine some of you, your heads are swimming. If you just keep going back to the fact that you have two strokes, an upstroke and a downstroke, and that these two pressures, one on either side of the piston, accomplish one of the two things, and then on the downstroke you have pressures on either side of the piston, and those two pressures are used for these two things. But that's basically how it works. Okay. And the reason that two-stroke engines are very, very powerful is because they accomplish intake, compression, power, and exhaust in two strokes of the piston instead of four. So if you have a two-stroke engine running at 1,000 RPMs and a four-stroke engine beside it running at 1,000 RPMs, the two-stroke engine has twice as many power strokes in the same amount of time. And so that's why they're so powerful. It's almost like it doubles. It doesn't. There's mechanical efficiencies that interfere. It doesn't double the power of a four-stroke engine, but it's much more powerful than a four-stroke. It's also much hotter, and I'm going to post another video to show you what that looks like in a motor. If every other movement of the piston is a power event, I mean, you get an incredible amount of heat in a two-stroke engine. Anyways, there's a basic description of a two-stroke motor. I hope that helped more than it hurt.